go. Hi, everybody. I'm Stacy.
And I'm her daughter, Mickey.
And welcome to KiddieNomics. Oh my goodness, it's another fun-filled Friday of Kids Financial Literacy Fridays with KiddieNomics. We are super excited to have you guys back on another Friday with us, right? Yeah. And then we have a phenomenal pink-haired guest. I am super excited. I've known our guest for many years, and I've always wanted her on KiddieNomics because she is phenomenally smart and fun. So I think you guys are going to have an awesome time today. Hey, Timmy. I think you guys are going to have an awesome time today. Hi, Brielle. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen before I get started with Miss Brittany today. Okay. Let's start. There we go. There's KiddieNomics. Okay, so welcome to KiddieNomics. First of all, we always want to welcome all our new kitties that are on KiddieNomics today. So thank you for everybody that has registered. We've had a couple of new signups this week. So welcome to KiddieNomics. If you are new, type it in the chat box and just say, hey, I'm new, and the kids will welcome you in the chat box, okay? And then, of course, welcome back to all of our returning kitties. If this is your first time back too from our summer break, welcome back. We missed you. So it's so good for all you guys to be back on a Friday with us. We're super happy. So let's talk about KiddieNomics. What is KiddieNomics? KiddieNomics will help kids ages 8 to 13 to develop a healthy relationship towards financial literacy, helping to start kids off on the right path to have a successful financial future. So we want that for all of you. I want that for her.
Ow,
sorry. She wants that for me. We want that for everybody out there, right? We want everybody to have a successful financial future. And learning financial literacy at a young age is the bestest way to get there. You'll have a healthy relationship with finances as you get older, right? So that's what we're here to learn today from all of our guest experts that we have week after week. So that's what we do here. All right, so what should we do? Should we do roll call before we get, before I go into the housekeeping stuff? Yeah, let's do roll call. Let's do roll call. Let me open up the chat box. All right, let me see. All right, so roll call. Let me know from which country are you guys joining us from today? Let me see. We have Timmy says Canada, Ontario. Brielle says Canada. Anne says Canada. Who else is on? Madeline says Canada. Hey, Akira, you're back. That's so awesome. Canada, Ontario says Mary one, huh? Okay, I'm going to say Mary Jana. Ontario. Timmy says Canada. And then Ontario. It's a lot of O's, Timmy. Fantastic. And Mickey, where are you from today?
Thank goodness you didn't forget.
I did not forget you today.
Let me see. I'm from I'm from the water bottle.
Mickey's from the water bottle. That's a new one for this week. Let me see. Celine says, are we saying states? I just joined. Sure. So if you're joining us from America, let us know what state you're joining us from. That's awesome. Welcome to KiddieNomics. That's so awesome. Let us know in the chat box. That's super cool. Let's see. I think that's it. And oh, Miss Brittany says that she's from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada. Yay! Also, if it is your birthday coming up, not the date, but yes, the end of the month, the end of October. But if your birthday is coming up and soon, let us know in the chat box and we'll wish you happy birthday. So sometimes I miss saying that one. And then I miss your birthday. So, oh, your birthday was in August, Timmy. So happy belated birthday. Did you have fun?
Happy very, very late birthday.
Michaela says happy belated birthday. Anaya says, hi. Thanks for joining us. All right. So guess what? We got to get back into our KiddieNomics stuff. All right, so that was super fun, guys. Okay, so just to give you some housekeeping items, to remind everybody that we always record every KiddieNomics webinar. So this webinar is being recorded, okay? And then we upload this video and all of our other videos to our KiddieNomics YouTube channel. So you'll be able to watch back this video. It'll be posted by about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. So you'll be able to watch it back. And of course, you can watch any of our other past webinars that we've had. They're all on our KiddieNomics YouTube channel. So in case you want to catch up with anything, you can always watch back any of our past videos. Also, keep in mind, we cannot see or hear any of you kitties to maintain your privacy, right? So the way to communicate with us is always through the chat box. Please remember that we have kids ages 8 to like 13. Sometimes we have older, sometimes we have younger. So always keep it nice and respectful. We love to have a safe, fun, happy community here in our KiddieNomics community. So just respect everybody's questions that sometimes get asked a couple of times in the chat box, okay? But the kids are always helpful. So in case sometimes you miss the answer or want clarification, sometimes the kids will help answer it, which is super cool. And what else?
Remember not to share your phone number.
Oh yes, remember not to share any of your personal information, right? So never share your personal phone number, your addresses. Never want to see that in the chat box. How old you are.
So you don't know my address.
She lives in a water bottle. And of course, never like email addresses. I don't want you guys to share no personal information. I usually ask like what country you're joining us from. That's okay. But I don't want to see like how old you are, nothing personal in the chat box, okay?
What about if you're joining from like Ajax or
yeah, that's okay. If you want to say your city, that's okay. If you want to rep your city, well, it's a township, I think, technically. We're kind of small. But anyways, all right, so let's get started. So today, we are going to be talking to Miss Brittany Hardy. So I've known Brittany for many, many, many years. She is super phenomenal. Do you see that pink hair?
Yeah.
Like, I love her hair, right? Who loves Miss Brittany's hair? Let me know. Who loves Miss Brittany's hair? Timmy says me. Hi, Akira. Did you have a question? Can you type it in the chat box, please?
She wants to go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. Akira, if you need to go to the bathroom, go ahead, sweetie, okay? Timmy says me, Madeline says me. Yeah, I do. I always love her hair. It's super awesome. So we are going to be talking today. Remember, we always talk about entrepreneurship and how to start your own business. So we've covered this in different aspects many, many times. Timmy says so cool. And we are going to be talking about content marketing on social media. So we use social media a lot, right? Because it's a free tool, but we need to know how to really use it to actually build our businesses, because some of you guys want to do many things. Like you guys want to start your own t-shirt line or your own clothing line or sell books. And some of you guys are comics and like you want to draw comics, or you guys write a lot and you guys have a lot of superpowers out there, which are your skills. And so that can translate to you starting your own business, right? Because remember, we did Shopify a few weeks back. So this is going to talk about how to use social media, but how to use social media in an awesome way to actually get you results. Okay, so we're going to talk to Miss Brittany. And so Miss Brittany Hardy is the owner of Empty Desk Solutions, a boutique marketing company located in Port Coquitlam, which I've been to in BC. Brittany is passionate about helping small businesses achieve their growth goals with marketing solutions that are both effective and affordable. I love that part. After many years of working in retail management and then as the marketing manager for Canada's largest mortgage company, Brittany decided it was time to pursue a lifelong goal of creating her own business. Naturally, she likes to help others and decided that there was no better way to do this than to use her creative talent to help others who want to do the same thing. With four young kids, which are super adorable, I must say. 4 young kids, Brittany believes in balancing work and home life and continues to find new ways to support and employ other moms. All right, so let's give a big KiddieNomics round of applause Brittany Hardy. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Anne says, I love her hair. I knew the kids would love your hair. Stop sharing. There we go.
Oh, amazing. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can share my screen properly now and load up my presentation. So
Oh, there we go.
like present, and you guys let me know if this is full screen and you can see everything okay.
Yes, I can see.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna be, I know it looks weird, I'm gonna be looking to the left a little bit because or maybe look to the right on the camera, right? Because I have my notes on my other computer, but I am here, present, and I'm ready to go through this. So today we are talking about social media content marketing and how you can have a social media business someday if you want to. And I have to admit, guys, when Miss Stacy asked me to present, I scratched my head for about a week thinking, okay, I know how to talk about this to business owners all day long, but I have no idea how to talk to kids about this. So this is new for me, breaking it down this way, and I hope that it'll make a lot of sense for you guys as we go through this. So this is a little Miss Stacy read my bio for me, but I wanted to show you my family because you know what? This is the reason that I keep going in my business each and every day. So on the top left, of course, that's me with my crazy pink hair and all. I don't often sit on my counter and work, but you know, my photographer said, sit on the counter and pretend you're working. So that's what I did. So fun, right? And then in the top middle, that's my husband, Darren. He's on the top right-hand side as well. He's a firefighter in Port Moody, BC. So his job's a little more stressful than mine, you could say. And then the bottom pictures are my kids. So the bottom left is my daughter, Lacey. In the middle is my daughter, Wynn. She's holding Daphne when Daphne was a baby. And then on the bottom right, that's Huxley and Daphne. So those are my four. So who am I? Well, I'm a mom of these four. I am a business owner and I am a social media content pro.
Hang on one second, Miss Brittany. Celine, are you saying you can't see the screen? Are you not seeing what? You don't see the kids. Are you saying that you don't see anything right now? So I think, because we can see, so I want to make sure all the kids can see. So Celine, if you can't see, just make sure that you're in the right viewing, which is like gallery at the top. So if you go in the top right-hand corner, there should be a view button. You could probably see it that way. If not, then you may have to just log out and log back in if you're having a technical glitch. Okay? All right. Let me know if you're still having any issues, okay? I can see. Okay, perfect. All right, perfect. Monica says I can see. All right, okay, perfect. All right, go ahead, Miss Brittany. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. So before we kind of get into this whole content marketing thing, I thought I would talk for a second about why and how I started my business, because I feel like there's probably a lot of kids who tune in that either have their own business, they're thinking about it for someday, and they might want to just know a little bit about that. So for me, and I had 2 kids when I started my business, not 4, but I have the 4 now. The first reason I wanted childcare is expensive. So I was on my own with my 2 kids and I was paying 50% of my income to childcare. I was exhausted. I had no time left. And I knew there has to be a better way for me to make money that's not trading time for money in a job. I wanted to be able to create something and make money for myself. So like imagine every $100 that you made, $50 of that, 50%, you had to give away for someone to like, that's what it was like for me. And that's what giving away 50% of your income is like. So I just thought, okay, well, what can I do that I could make money at? And if you really listen around you and you combine your skills with what people might be asking for help with, you never know what business might come out of that. So that's why I said you're starting a business is sometimes as easy as listening to what people are looking for. And that's what I did. I took a skill that I was good at and I knew I could improve it even more. And in one weekend, guys, I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about this. I'm being honest. In one weekend, I set up a website and I just went. It was like 1, 2, 3, go. I'm going to start trying to sell my services doing content. That is legitimately how my business started. And in 4 months of starting it, so I started in April, and by the August, 4 months later, I had too many clients to keep working that full-time job that was sucking the life out of me. So I left, and that was it. That was my entrepreneurship journey in its sense. So if you think you have an idea and you can't do it, I am here to tell you, you can do it. And it's probably easier than you think.
That's so phenomenal. So Miss Brittany's saying you can take your skills, which are your superpowers, right? And a lot of you guys, we ask you, like I ask you many times on KiddieNomics, what's your superpower? And you guys will say, well, I like helping kids, or I babysit a lot, and I like working with my hands, or I know how to code, and I want to be a chef.
I know how to sleep.
Okay, Michaela knows how to sleep. No, you like to play sports. What are you
I like
talking
to play sports, but I like to
But
sleep.
that's a lot of your skills, right? Your skills are your superpowers. So you're what Miss Brittany is saying is taking your superpowers and turning that superpower into an awesome business. So that's phenomenal, Miss Brittany.
Amazing. Oh, I hope that we can inspire some little entrepreneurs. So
Absolutely.
let's break this down. I thought this little video in the background is kind of funny because sometimes when you talk to even adult business owners about content marketing, they think it's like this crazy equation, and there's all of these moving parts. And I promise you, it's not like this. So we're going to talk a little bit about social media networks and content and how they can apply to a business, whether that's a business you start when you're younger, older, doesn't matter, any type of business. That's what we're going to talk about here. So I'm skipping to my next one with a note. So the first piece is, okay, what social media networks do people use? And again, we're talking about business uses, although of course you can use social media for personal as well. So I have 2 slides with kind of the 6, we'll call them the biggest ones that businesses use. So the first 3, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we have Twitter. So most of you are probably familiar with those 3. And here's some interesting stats on how many users they all have. Facebook, wow, guys, 2.89 billion users. Like, that's mind blowing in itself. Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, has over 1 billion users, and Twitter at 186 million active daily users. So the stats are a little different there. Now, the different uses for each one, Facebook, and it depends, personal versus business. If you're using it just personal, you're probably sharing pictures with friends and family. For me, I have like a family chat where I connect with family from all over the world, that kind of thing. But for businesses, primarily news and entertainment. They use it for website referral traffic, which is just a fancy way of saying send someone from a Facebook post to click on my website. And then there's an emphasis, or in other words, focus on video content. So that's Facebook. Then we have Instagram, which is a little different because it has more of a visual focus. It's optimal or best, again, for kind of short videos, reels, which you might see now, which kind of like TikTok. And it's not as easy to get clicks to your website from Instagram, although you can do it through advertising and stories in different ways. It's best for strong visual brands. So a business that has, the easiest way to explain that is, can I take a picture of something that reflects my business? Then Instagram will probably work for you. And then we have Twitter, which, let's face it, with kids on the call, you probably don't care too much about Twitter, but it is more news, not as much social. And curation, this word curation here, this crazy beep. Can you guys hear this crazy beeping in the background?
Yeah.
Yes, I was wondering if it was my house, but I was like, I don't think so. Yes,
Sorry, I think it's
yes, you can hear
I
it.
feel like it's a weird alarm my children have set. It should go off in a minute. If it doesn't, I'll go hit stop. Anyways, so Twitter, more news, a lot of like political things on here, different use cases for business. Is not very visual, and people generally just curation means they're kind of just resharing stuff from other businesses here. So those are those 3. And after the next slide, where I have the next 3, if there's questions that are specific to each social network, I'm happy to answer those before we move on as well. So the next one is Pinterest, Google Business, and LinkedIn. There we go. It stopped. The magical beeping is done. Sorry, guys. So Pinterest, we have some stats here as well. 454 million monthly active users. It's very visual. People use Pinterest to get inspiration. As a mom, I might go on there and search like chicken dinner ideas, like, because I'm stuck and I don't know what to cook. Think of Pinterest in that way. I'm looking for ideas on things, but businesses use it in the same way. They might go on and search idea for logo colors and use it as a visual search that way. This is another example of a website traffic generator, or in other words, a platform you can use to get people to see your posts, take an action, and click to your website. Now, Google Business I put this one in here because it's really important. It's not a social network per se, although they used to have Google Plus, which was a social network, doesn't exist anymore. But Google Business is still really important because it helps customers find you, and you can still tell them, tell a story about your business to your customers. And it's really important to gain trust through reviews. So if you were to go on to Google and search, I don't know, hair salon, for example, Google's going to show you on a map all the hair salons really close to you. So if those businesses have taken the time to create a listing, they have a better chance of getting customers because they're going to see that it's, close by. And you can still use this regardless of your business. So for me, for example, well, I don't have an office where people visit me, right? Doing social media content, I can do that from anywhere in the world, but I still want to show people, hey, my doors are open for business. I'm in Canada, this is how you get a hold of me, sort of thing. So that's why Google Business is important. And then the last one is LinkedIn. And this one is still tons and tons of users, 774 plus million users. It is more for networking, so making personal and business connections with people. So instead of networking where you're going to an event and handing someone a business card, how it would be done in the quote unquote olden days, right? This is like the digital way of networking. And the content you'll see is generally more professional things to do with the business's industry, where you think like the content, I mean, the things that people post on LinkedIn versus something you would see on Instagram or Facebook. So those are the 6 that I wanted to show you guys. And remember that there are different uses for personal and business again. So these are all related to business, and you'll see website traffic, for example, is a very common theme. I won't go into tons of detail about that, but the reason that's so important is because in marketing we call things conversions. So it's basically a fancy way of saying someone who's taken a specific action. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. So if someone just goes to your website and they're just a website visitor, once they do something, let's say they fill out a contact form, or they book a call, or they make a purchase, then it's considered a conversion. So that's why people would want to use these social networks to send clicks to their website so that customers can take an action. Hopefully that kind of makes sense on that end. And so social media only, is social media only for personal use? So I do get this question a lot. Sometimes businesses ask me, well, do I really even need to have social media for my business? I already have personal accounts. So there's definitely many ways to separate profiles, and it is recommended. So I've kind of written here, you can have your own personal social media accounts. Most of us do. I see a question. I'll answer that in 1 second. Like Instagram or TikTok. But you do want to have separate profiles for your business for privacy reasons. So sometimes you don't, you want your business people to see that, but maybe you don't want them to see you, right? And of course for marketing purposes. And yes, I saw there was a question, Stacy. Miss Stacy.
So we didn't have TikTok in that slide.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on TikTok? Because the kids love TikTok and want to get more into doing videos. So maybe you're going to have that in your slides going forward. But were those like the top 6 for business related, or
correct?
TikTok?
Yeah, so those are the top 6 for business. They're also the ones that we manage personally for our clients, so I know the most about them. TikTok, there are a lot of businesses starting to use TikTok, but it's very hard for them to hire someone to do that for them. So there's sort of this divide, I guess, if you will. So there's businesses that are very tech savvy that will jump on and do it because they know how to create their own video content. But the businesses that don't, they kind of get left behind because it's a little bit tricky to jump on board. There's tons of businesses using TikTok now, tons and tons of users. There has been some privacy concerns with TikTok. So sometimes we're cautious just about pushing our, business clients to jump on board with that. Also, as a mom with young kids, some of the stuff that we see on TikTok is a little scary, quite frankly, for some of the younger ones. So anyways, it's just not one that it's fun, but we don't generally promote it a lot because we have some personal concerns over the safety of a lot of the information that's on that platform, which is something, to consider as well. All of these platforms we're talking about, there are, and I know I didn't put this in a slide, but there are age restrictions, right? So if you go to Facebook or Instagram, we have to be 13 to set up an account. So if you're younger than, well, you can't set up an account anyways if you're younger. And those are definitely there for a reason because of some of the stuff you can see and yes, privacy and all that stuff. So, but really good question about TikTok. Okay, so we are going to now talk about what is content marketing. We've talked about where you would put some of this content marketing, but what is content marketing at its core? And we are going to try and break this down into its absolute simplest form. So I'm going to break this down with a more simple definition, but the really technical marketing definition is content marketing is the development and distribution of relevant, useful content like blogs and newsletters to current and potential customers and fans. So in other words, you're developing, so you're making content, videos, blogs, social media posts, etc., and then you're sending them out to the world so the world can read it and learn all about you. So if you think of like that Instagram post maybe you saw about a fancy new pair of sneakers and talking about how great they are, that's content marketing. Someone has shown, maybe you've expressed interest somehow in sneakers and Instagram thinks, I should probably show them more stuff about sneakers, and somehow you magically see this post in your feed. That's content marketing at work.
Okay,
Now,
so Ms. Whitney, let me ask the kids. Hi, Layla. That's okay. Glad you're back. Welcome back, sweetie. Question. Can you go back to your last slide?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. So I want to just check in with the kids and make sure, do we all understand what is content marketing by this definition? Do you understand, Nikki?
Yes.
Yes?
Can
Okay.
I,
Let me see. Timmy says yes. Madeline says yes. Anne says yes. Right? Everybody understands?
I was gonna say.
No. Timmy, you just said yes. Celine says yes. Anaya says yes. Anne says yes. So no, you don't understand, Timmy? No. Akira says yes. I did say yes. Okay. Oh, I understand. Okay. Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, so great. See, Brittany did a great job with breaking that down. Woo.
Can
never mind. Yeah, was there another question?
No.
Nope. Okay. Skipping forward. So let's talk about the goal, or why would people even do this for their business? So the consistent, like over and over, use of content marketing creates and nurtures relationships with prospective, so not yet clients, and existing clients. So in marketing, and this is at a very high level, right? It gets much more complex than this, but there's kind of, if you think of like a funnel, like an upside down triangle, you have goals, which are at the very top, like big picture, what do I want to do? You have strategies, which is like your system. And then you have tactics, which are like the individual tasks or things you have to do to make that system work. But at the end of the day, the big goal is usually to have someone take an action like buying a product or service. So businesses exist to make money, help people do all these different things. So without marketing, you make no money essentially because no one knows you exist. So that's the goal. Now I want to show you, see this like crazy path, like it looks very like, ooh, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be on this path. I don't want to walk this path. I don't want to be on a bike on this path. So it looks crazy. So think of this as what it would feel like to try and find out more about a business who does not have a content marketing plan to take you on a specific journey. You're sort of left on this like crazy path. You don't know where you're going. So I'm going to kind of break this down a little more in a visual way on our next slide here. So we have two different roads, right? Now, which path or road looks like it's easier to take? So like, give me a, left, right, left in the chat if you feel like the left looks like the easy way to take, and give me a type right in the chat if you feel like the right-hand side would be the easier path to take.
So let's see. To me says right, Mary Jana says right. Timmy says left. Anne says right. Timmy says right. Janelle says right. The right says Celine. What do you say, Mix?
There is a big hill and it's gonna give me butterflies. So I say right, but there's also a lot of trees. And if you get kidnapped from it.
All right. So Mickey says right. Awesome. Brielle says right. So the kids are kind of saying right, the right side.
You are correct. So imagine on the left, again, this is like what your journey would look like, trying to find or navigate how to work with a business, let's say, without a content marketing plan in place. Or like maybe you're taking all these wrong turns. You don't know, is this business for me? Is it not? I don't know anything about this. And then on the right, look how much easier this looks. So imagine your car's on the road on the right. This is a business that's taking you from point A to B because they're putting out consistent content, telling you all the way through your, what we would call our buyer journey, different stages and how to get there. So I thought that'd be a fun way to sort of illustrate what that looks like. Now on this, oh, it doesn't want to let me go to the next one. There we go. Okay. This I think is probably the most complex piece of the puzzle. So I'm going to do my best to break this down. So this is, I'm trying to illustrate here how businesses use content marketing. And we're breaking it into 3 steps here. The 3 steps are awareness, consideration, and closing. Again, these are marketing terms, but if you kind of think of it again as that funnel, awareness is at the top. Once they're aware of you, they're going to move down. They're in the consideration. They might consider doing business with you or buying something if it's a product. And then the closing stage, they're kind of popping out the bottom. They've taken an action, they've made a purchase, etc. So when they're in the awareness stage, this is when businesses are going to write content. And this is another marketing term, pain points or challenges. So this is like, I'll compare it to my business. So what are people annoyed with before they think about using your service? So for me, they might think they're trying to do content marketing themselves and they think, oh, this is so frustrating or it takes me too much time. So I'm going to put out content that kind of creates awareness around, hey, I'm here to help you. This is what I do. I do content marketing for a living. And then they go down to, scroll down on my notes here. It's being a little funky on my other computer. Then they move through to consideration. So now they've, I've done my job creating content in the awareness stage. So now they're considering my services. They know I exist. So now I have to tell them a little bit more about what it looks like and feels like to work with me, right? Or let's think about those sneakers again. Awareness is, okay, they're showing you just generic stuff about shoes. So you start thinking, yeah, I think I want a new pair of shoes. And then once they know, okay, she's considering a new pair of shoes, then they're going to start putting stuff in front of you in this middle consideration. How about these red Nike shoes? Do you like the, and they're showing you all the fun things about these very specific shoes because they know you're considering that. And then when they move into the closing stage, well, this is when they think, okay, we've got her. She's now clicked on something to do with these red Nike shoes. So let's show her how to actually buy the shoes. So that's when you're going to start seeing that, a purchase button or something else that's very specific. So that, my friends, is the most complicated piece. And before I move on to the next slide, which is content marketing the same as advertising, I wanted to stop for a second and just see if that last slide, if there was any questions on those 3 pieces.
You want to go back to the last slide and then we can ask the kids?
Yeah.
Madeline says nope. So everybody understands the 3 stages for content marketing. No, says Akira. Nada.
No, or no, she doesn't understand. I'm not.
What does this mean? what did Layla say?
It means hi, everyone.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi, Layla. Mickey's in French immersion too, so I always have to ask her. Monica said,
Je parle français aussi, mes amis.
oh.
Don't worry. I will do the rest in English. Don't worry.
Anne says, I don't get the awareness stage. So could you explain that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So awareness stage is when a business is going to create content, keeping in mind that the person who's going to see the content has no idea that they even exist yet. So it's very high level. So again, like how can we, when we think about like the sneakers, or example with the sneakers, so they're showing you very general things about shoes, and you could say, the pain points, oh, your shoes are, let's think kids, you grow out of your shoes really fast. Are your shoes too small? Are they bothering your feet? Maybe it's time for a new pair of shoes. Like they're just trying to get in your head a little bit, making you aware that you need this thing, right? Marketing and advertising is all about telling you, you need this thing or service. So awareness is trying to make you pay attention to maybe those cues. Yeah. And then moving you down this funnel technically, right? So you're aware, okay, now let's tell you more specific things about that need to make you consider buying a specific product. And then closing, okay, now let's put this product in front of this person with how to buy it. I think that's probably the easiest way to explain it.
And did that make sense? So just let me know.
Yeah.
Yes,
I see,
says
yeah.
and perfect. And now all the kids are talking French. But if you're in French, then how am I supposed to understand? Like I can go up to grade 1 French.
It's been a long time since I've used my French, but that's okay.
Oh, it's been an extremely long time. I can help with grade 1, maybe grade 2.
So, oh my gosh, look at this guy. Is he not like the cutest dog ever? I had to figure out a way to include this fun photo, so I did. So the next few slides, we are going to talk about the difference between content marketing and advertising, because they are two different things. So I'm going to do my best to illustrate how they're different. So on these slides, we're going to talk about content marketing on kind of the left versus advertising, which will be the word on the right. So the first one, we're talking about nurturing versus showing. So content marketing puts out content that your target consumer or customer, another word for customer, finds interesting, useful, or valuable, rather than just telling them about the product. Whereas on the other hand, advertising is just showing them something. It can still be targeted, but it's a little bit different. So if you think of advertising's like the commercial, we're going to stick with the sneaker example. So it's the commercial on TV, and it's, you know, the guy running, and he's got these like really awesome red shoes, and whether you need red shoes or not, you're seeing that commercial because they're just trying to get their message out to as many people as possible. Whereas on the other hand, content marketing is trying to create those stages, right? The awareness and consideration, and get you to really think about these things along what we would call our buyer journey. So I was trying to think of another example, and I thought, okay, let's imagine you're at school, right? And your friend from school, you've had them in your class before, you know, you already trust them, you know a little bit about them. So you think, yeah, I think I could go sit and have lunch with this person. That's kind of like pretend content marketing has been at play, because you're aware of them, you know who they are, so you feel comfortable like this. In this example, we're nurturing, versus, you know, the advertising or showing, it would be like your teacher just yelling at you and saying, yeah, here's the new kid in the class, go sit with them. And you're like, oh, I don't know them yet, right? That's kind of what advertising is like versus content marketing. So another difference between the two, long-term versus instant. So content marketing is long-term, very long-term in some cases. Advertising can be long-term, but in most cases, it's instant. So when you're doing content marketing, you're not instantly pushing a specific product or trying to sell a product, but you are trying to get in front of your customer all the time with your content so that they keep thinking about you. And I put, yes, it takes a long time, sometimes years. So my business is 8 years old, but I have people that have been following my company for years, like 5 to 7 years on social media, and only now are they contacting me 5+ years later. So that is definitely a long-term play. So it's something you get into, and it's an absolute must for businesses to jump on board with some form of content marketing, but it takes a very long time. Sometimes it can be quick, but a lot of times it takes a while. So another difference, and this is a key one too, content marketing is like talking with versus advertising, which is talking to. So it's a two-way versus a one-way conversation. So with online content, you can leave comments, like maybe people are commenting on your blog post, or like this, interacting in a webinar. A webinar is actually a form of content marketing, or a podcast, or maybe they're commenting on social posts and you can respond back. So that's content marketing. It's two-way versus advertising. When you see that commercial, I can't talk back and yell at the guy running on the screen with the fancy red sneakers. They're just showing me, right? So it's one way. And then we have one more big difference. I'm sure there's many more, but these are the ones I'm highlighting. So in general, content marketing is very more specific, and advertising can be very general. So advertising, like we're saying, is kind of just like trying to get your message out to as many people as possible in the shortest time frame. And it's kind of like anyone. There's not a lot of targeting involved with most advertising. It's just get this message out, show all these people my product. Whereas content marketing is more about getting in front of the right people. So you're going to talk about very specific things that your target customer would want to see. So I know Miss Stacy, you'd mentioned like a t-shirt business, for example. So an example of advertising would be, we'll just talk about the TV commercial again. Is everyone watching TV that day in need of a t-shirt? No, absolutely not. It's very general, but that's what advertising is. And then on the other side, on content marketing, where you're posting all the time about new t-shirt designs or, you know, a new color of t-shirt that you have out in your line or something like that. It's very specific, and the people following you are already probably interested in the t-shirts. So you can see how it's a lot more targeted. And it goes on the flip side as well. If you're marketing a t-shirt company, you're not going to all of a sudden start talking about dog treats, because why would people that are interested in buying a t-shirt from you, they don't care about dog treats, they want to buy a t-shirt. So you're always creating things that are really specific to your business. Those are the main differences. So before I pop over to this next part, that's like how to actually get this done, I'll stop again and see if anyone has any questions on the differences between content marketing and advertising. And I'm not seeing.
Let me see if there's any questions. Does anybody have any questions? Mickey, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
No?
No.
So we all understand the difference between like advertising versus content marketing. No questions. Akira says, Madeline says, nope, kinda. Celine says, kinda. So maybe, maybe if we could sum it up into like a couple of words between advertising and then content marketing. Miss Brittany, do you think you can?
I can absolutely do that. So let's go. So content marketing, strategic, streamlined, right? Interactive. Okay. And then advertising, broad, expensive as well. There's a difference between cost as well. And yeah, it's just the flip side of content marketing. So not as targeted, shorter play versus long-term play. There's someone who
What is your question? Somebody had a question. Hold on, let me just go back. Timmy, hopefully I said that right. You have a question. Can you please type it in the chat box? And yes, please, no spamming, okay, kids? So let me know what your question is. If you can type the question in the chat box, and then we can help answer that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, when that pops up, then that question, let me know, and I will go back to that.
Perfect.
Okay. Hope everyone's still with me. Don't have too much left, guys, so stay with me. So naturally, a lot of businesses will say, or anyone thinking about content marketing, okay, now I know a little bit about what it is. So how do I get this done now? So
sorry, Miss Brittany. So his question is, what's the longest term? I think because you did long term and then instant in that slide. So he's wondering, is there what is the longest term?
Well, I guess that, you know what, it's really open-ended, because there are exceptions to every rule with it as well. So some businesses might start doing content marketing, and in the first month, they might have people that, oh, I've seen you, I would like to buy your product or service. It can be relatively instant, but in most cases, I would say it's on average 6 months to a year before people are aware enough to buy something or do a service, purchase a product or service. There's also a stat, and I believe it's 11 touch points before someone considers buying from you. So a touch point can be a social media post, it can be an email they get from you, reading a blog, but 11 different times they have to be exposed to your message before they think that you're trustworthy and will buy something from you. So that's sort of why content marketing is a little bit of a longer term play. I've seen businesses who have done it for 5-6 years and have said, I don't really think this is working for me. So it really does depend on what type of content you're putting out. Does your audience like it? Are they entertained? Are they being educated? Or is the stuff you're putting out more like an ad still, and it doesn't, they don't need that content at that time? Hopefully that's, yes.
Madeline wants to know, what if you change your business during the 6 months or a year, or you quit? what happens then, I guess, with your content?
That's a good question. So there's a few pieces to that. So if you were to start one business today, you know, selling t-shirts, and then you decided 6 months in, I don't want to sell t-shirts anymore, I want to sell those shoes, you can rebrand or rename your social networks and just take advantage of those kind of the followers that you've built up already and start posting content for your new product. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it does if the products or services are similar enough. But if you were to say 6 months in, I'm not doing this business anymore, I'm shutting it down or I quit, then your options would be to, you know, some people try and sell their content that they've had put together. They try and sell it to another business in a similar position that might want to take it over, or they delete the accounts. So that happens too. But interesting also to keep in mind that, you know, whenever you have stuff that you've posted online, anywhere, any of the social networks, it exists in some way, shape, or form online forever. So really important to keep in mind when you're creating your content that you can delete, let's say, I don't know, an Instagram post, but it's probably stored somewhere online, right? I always feel like that's important to put out there for kids to just always remember what you put out there kind of stays out there. And actually this isn't something I put in there, but this is an interesting point because if you we're thinking about it in the scenario of if you decide to close your business and you're in the position to delete your social channels, let's say, and the content that's been posted to them. But what if something happens and tomorrow, let's say you only had Instagram for your business. You thought, I'm going to only post on Instagram, forget all of the other social media networks. And then you do something or post something, or maybe it's out of your control and Instagram decides we're going to shut down that account, which happens all the time. It's happened to me before. And you think, oh no, now I have no way to reach any of these customers. So it's important to remember that your social media channel specifically should always be one piece of your marketing mix, right? You should have an email list as well, or a website, but email list and website are what we call marketing properties that you own. No one can just delete those except for you. Whereas the content you post on social, you can delete it, but guess what? The social networks can also delete it, which is no good, but it does happen. So that was a really good question because it actually, might make you think about other ways to create almost like a backup plan for your businesses.
Yes, because it's no fun to be locked out of your account, right, Miss Brittany?
Oh, it happened to me and we still don't know why, friends. It was 4 months. Imagine trying to run a social media company when you can't get on social media. It was challenging. We had backup plans, but it still happened. That's awesome. So we'll move on to this one. So now you might think, okay, how do I get this done? So some businesses do this for themselves. They write, design, and publish all of their own content. Others hire people to do it for them, like me, right? And there are many reasons why a business might hire someone to do it. And I think I have a typo in here, but we're going to pretend that's not there. So they might not have enough time, not tie like it says on the screen. They might not have enough time to do it themselves, or they just want to hire an expert to create a strategy so that their marketing works better. So sometimes businesses, they do have the time and they do it themselves, but they're not getting the results that they want. They're not getting enough clicks to their website, or they're feeling like, I'm not growing, I'm not getting any followers, I need some help. That might be when they hire someone to do it for them. So we are going to, and this is more or less the last piece of the puzzle, is actually building a content marketing plan for social media. And this applies to any business. This is in its simplest form. We have templates that we use, but these are kind of the three pieces: the calendar, the posts, and the posting itself. So the calendar, this is where we plan all of the social media content, or blog content, email newsletter content, all of that stuff, but we live it in one, and it's called an editorial calendar. This is what keeps you focused and organized. All of your ideas go here. And then it's another document, and we use Google Docs for ours. And we call it the social media post document, pretty straightforward. This is where we write what's called the copy or caption, basically the written words of each post. And then we design our images using a tool called Canva, and we store those two pieces together. So it's a document that has a table in it, and it says date that we're going to post it, written content for the post, and then there's a little image that goes with it. So this is our in-depth plan of what we're going to post. And then the third piece is actually scheduling or posting everything. So there are tools, and we've got some of them listed. There's one called Later, there's one called Sendable, there's Facebook Creator Studio, there's lots of different ones, but these are tools you can use to schedule all of these posts you've created in advance. So someone could, I'll give you an example, the businesses that work with us, they quite often are doing their own content marketing, and they're picking up, I thought I had my phone by me to show you, but I don't. They're picking up their phone and they're going, okay, it's 2:51 p.m. Pacific time. I have to post to Instagram for my business today. What should I post? And they take a picture and they figure out something to write and then they post it. How many of you think that would be a really effective strategy? Probably not many, right?
Do you think that that's effective?
Do you think that would work?
On the fly, like to do it without no planning? Or is it better to plan?
Better to plan.
Mickey says better to plan. What about
Really
everybody
better.
online? Monica says no. Is it better to plan or just do it on the fly every day? What do you guys think? Let me know.
Definitely,
Plan says Leah. That's right.
definitely.
Anne says
Definitely.
plan.
Amazing. You are 100% correct. If you don't have a plan, oh my gosh, you are setting yourself up for failure. Nobody wants that. There is a time and a place for that in the moment content for businesses. And that's things like Facebook and Instagram stories. So I might take a picture and say, enjoying my lovely cup of tea. That's very random and in the moment, but I'm going to put that in my stories. It's not going to be like my planned content I've got out for a month. So that in its simplest form is how you would come up with your system. So what would your system be for us? Calendar, post document, schedule, those three things. And we always write our stuff in monthly batches. So I would sit down, what's the date today? The 24th. So right now is actually when we would be sending our clients and doing this for ourselves, their October social media content. So we would say, okay, here's everything we're going to post for you next month. Right? And then we go ahead and we schedule that. So now in October, guess what? I don't have to do anything because my content is all done for me. So that's.
Is it best to plan like a whole month in advance, or is it like weekly? What do you think, Miss Brittany?
So that definitely depends on what type of business someone has. So for most businesses, monthly, and they can come up with what we would call like our baseline content. So it doesn't have to be everything you're going to post, but it's maybe 3 posts a week that you're going to do, like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something that's going to educate your business on, or your audience, pardon me, on what you do. And then that's going to free you up if you do a whole month of those, which when you think about it, 3 posts a week, it's only 12 posts that you have to write and design an image for and schedule. It frees you up to maybe on those other days, you can do things that are maybe like a video of yourself talking to a customer or showing that new t-shirt you've designed, or different things like that that maybe are harder to plan because you don't know when they're going to happen, if that makes sense. But definitely there are businesses that do it 1 week at a time. You know, it's doable as well. So sometimes people try and sit down and they go, okay, I'm going to do this whole thing for a month, but then they stare at their computer screen for 20 minutes and go, it's overwhelming. I don't know what I'm going to talk about for a whole month. So in that case, then they would start and do 1 week at a time until they get used to it. And then at some point you can do what's called repurposing or recycling your content. So if you've done this long enough and you look and you go, okay, September 24th, well, I think September 24th last year, I probably had a post that I put out for my business. Is anyone going to remember what I posted a year ago this day? Probably not. So I can start reusing that stuff. So there's different kind of sneaky little ways to save time with your content marketing once you've done it for a while as well.
And how often do you think somebody should post?
Well, it depends on how often they've posted in the past and sort of some data on their industry as well. So for most businesses, it's never less than like 3 posts a week. Most are posting about 5 a week, 1 a day, Monday to Friday. But for some businesses, it's not what we would say sustainable or easy for them to manage ongoing. Creating 5 posts a week, sometimes it's too much for them to do on top of all the other things that they have to do in their business, talk to their customers, maybe ship products, right? All of those things. So and I think there might be another question popping through.
No, it's okay.
So it definitely, sorry there guys, something popped up on my screen. Yeah, it really does depend on the individual business, but most are doing between 3 and 5 posts a week. And it's always important to consider, and it doesn't matter what your business is about, how long it takes you to do it, and if it's the best use of your time, or if there's other activities in your business that are a better use of your time. So that is, whoops, that piece. Now, here's what we all want to know. How can you make money in the future with social media or content marketing in general? And remember, social media content marketing is one piece of the overarching content marketing. Yes, Miss Stacy.
Can you go back to your last slide? Celine says that she's a little bit confused on the second one.
The second one, okay.
Post.
So the posts. So we have, this is ours, and there can be many systems you create to do social media content marketing, but this is ours in 3 steps. So the calendar is just the ideas. So it might say, let's say, like, see the little graphic where the 4th is circled, pretend that's a Friday. It might say Friday funny. And so we know, okay, we're just going to write something to do with something's going to make people laugh on Friday. And then the 7th, we're going to write, maybe this is an educational post. It's kind of the big picture ideas. The second one that maybe is a little confusing, the posts, this is a document where we actually write all of the words that our posts are going to say. So the actual physical, so most, I guess most kids and networks they're used to logging in the moment, taking a picture and writing a caption. So this is like a collection of captions. Maybe that's the better way of kind of explaining that. Does that make sense a little bit more?
Hey, Celine, did that make sense to you? Just let me know in the chat box, please. Okay, I understand now. Perfect.
Yay, okay, awesome. So then we will think, okay, how can you make money in the future with social media marketing or social media content marketing? And there are definitely a few ways. So whether you want to do this for a job or start your own business, you can use content marketing to grow your business or help others grow theirs. And yes, you can make money on the way. So there are companies, this is sort of relatively new. So a long time ago with this position, even 10 years ago, would it exist, a social media manager for a company? No, but it does now. People will actually hire, for big companies, social media managers. They will create content, they will respond to comments online, that kind of thing. Or if you have your own business, whether that's selling a product or a service, you can make money as a result of posting content so that people are aware of your business. Or how I make money is I write content for other businesses. They pay me to do their content for them. So those are different ways you can make money on social media. And that is my presentation, friends. So I'm here for any and all questions that our friends have here.
That was awesome. Thank you, Brittany. Let me see. Madeline says she doesn't have any questions, but that was good. Vera says, I'm not sure. Celine, can you go? Okay, yes, please. If we could stop spamming. Let me see. So any questions? Celine, do you have any questions? Monica says, thanks. Do we have any questions?
No.
So I have a question. As the kids are, we're like in the ages of 8 to 13.
Yeah.
Celine says that she understood, which is awesome. Inaya says, thank you. As the kids are 8 to 13, and with all the different social media platforms, if somebody was to say going to start a t-shirt line, which platform do you think that they should use to target, and it's a kids t-shirt line, right? Like, where should the kids really focus their time? Like, obviously not on LinkedIn, but what about the other platforms?
So what we would always say is you have to do a little bit of research on the people that are buying your product or service. Where do they hang out online? Where are they going to actually see or consume this content? So if it's t-shirts for kids, well, they're probably on TikTok. They might be on Instagram. They'll probably say, oh, Facebook's for old people, so maybe they're not on Facebook. They're surely not on Twitter. And LinkedIn, they're like, what is that? So it's probably TikTok and Instagram. But if you go to Google and you search, how old are people that use TikTok? You'll probably find some articles that'll give you a breakdown. Yeah, someone's saying TikTok in the chat. I will give you a breakdown of kind of who uses what, and then that would be your best starting point, at least to figure out which one. Oh yeah, Pinterest. Someone says Pinterest in the chat. Yeah, kids to some degree use Pinterest as well, but it's probably TikTok.
Probably TikTok, yeah. I think so too, with all like the dances and stuff like that.
And
Yeah.
YouTube.
And and YouTube, Mickey says. Yeah, what about YouTube?
YouTube, definitely YouTube as well. And you know, there's one thing we didn't talk about, and that's how influencer marketing plays into all of this stuff. So that's something the kids that even if they don't know the term influencer marketing, they've certainly seen it. So YouTube's a good example. I know my kids watch this, I think it's called Nerdy Nummies. And it's like these girls that bake, but they're influencers, so that someone will send them a product and the girls will use this product and bake with it. And then people watching will, oh, I like these girls, I'm gonna buy this. So, you know, that could be an example. If you have a kid's t-shirt line, maybe you're sending it to a famous YouTuber. Hey, will you wear my shirt in your YouTube video, right? That's definitely, yeah.
Yeah, one of the kids are asking me, have you made a lot of TikToks yet, Miss Stacy? And I was just about to type, no, not yet, Layla. I have to get into TikTok.
You have to, not me.
Yes, I have to get into TikTok.
But I hope.
Mickey's very much like she's into TikTok. I know. I'm gonna, every time I say I'm gonna get into TikTok, but and it doesn't happen, but I'm going to get into TikTok. And Mickey's into like, I mean, beyond our KiddieNomics YouTube channel that we have, she also has her own YouTube channel that she does like videos, music videos that she does, and one of her videos has like 6,000 views, and I was like, what? That's crazy. So, you know, I guess, you know, for them, YouTube is also a big platform for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So thank you, Miss Brittany. That was awesome.
Thanks for having me. I hope that everybody was able to learn a little bit about social media content marketing today.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Brittany. If you could stop sharing your screen.
You got it. There we go.
Oh, am I freezing?
Little tiny bit.
Not. Maybe. Am I freezing? I think I am a little bit. Can you see me? Are we? Yeah. Are we good now?
I can see you, but it's a little bit like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, like that, right? Kinda, yeah, now. Okay, perfect. Kids say thank you, Miss Brittany. Monica says thank you, Miss Brittany.
So welcome.
Yeah, you know what? We haven't ever advertised Mickey's YouTube channel or TikTok account because I'm always trying to keep it private for her. So let me think about it, and then I'll let you guys know if we're gonna let you guys know, okay? Okay, all right, so let's wrap up. I'm gonna go back to sharing the screen again. And Miss Brittany, if you could just stay on. Absolutely. And we'll be wrapped up really quickly. Okay, all right, so last question that we ask every KiddieNomics webinar: what would happen if kids became more financially literate? And our answer is
Real change that impacts
the world. Because guess what? The more financially literate that you are, it just means that you will have such a healthy relationship to finances, and it will take you so much further in whatever it is that you learn or want to be in life. So that's what we really want for everybody, because at the end of the day, with financial literacy, you guys may, you know, as you grow up, you may be the ones to help, you know, cure cancer, or, you know, help solve, you know, our environmental issues and whatever that is, but you're going to need financial literacy to help you to get there. So that's why we think it's real change that's going to impact the world. And you guys are making the change. So I think that's phenomenal. Celine says, I'm learning so much. That's so awesome. Yay. That's what we want. All right. So guess what? We always, I will make a cure for COVID. Yes, Celine. That's awesome. That is so phenomenal. That would be amazing. Truly amazing. So Anne says, I love KiddieNomics. Thanks, Anne.
Thank you.
Layla says, same. Okay, all right. So we always call you guys a young financial literacy ambassadors. What is an ambassador? An ambassador is an authorized messenger or representative. And that just means that you guys represent us out there in the real world, right? So you guys represent KiddieNomics, and you guys help spread the word about what KiddieNomics is, and you help educate not only your family, but your friends and the community about some stuff that you guys learned on about financial literacy, right? So we like to say on KiddieNomics that knowledge is our superpower. Come on, focus. All right, let's get into what we're going to talk about in the next coming weeks. So this week was Miss Brittany. Next week we have Miss Siobhan Bent. She'll be back to talk about cash flow for kids. So remember, we always talk about real estate in KiddieNomics, and that's because real estate is a really big foundational pillar in your financial wealth. And so we're going to talk about, if you're going to get real estate that you are going to invest in, what does that look like in getting a mortgage and making sure that the property is giving you a positive income cash flow. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week, which is going to be fun. And then the week after that, I had to type it in, but we have Miss Karen Holland. She'll be back talking to us about giftingsense.org. She was on September 17th, so the week before. And then after that, we're going to have on Mr. Joshua, and he's going to talk about buying your first car.
Yes.
So what you need to buy your first car. So that's going to be super fun too, right? I'm sure you guys are all curious about, what do you need to say? What do you need to buy your first car, and what does that look like, right? So
Can I get a Lamborghini?
You get a Lamborghini. I don't know. You say financial wealth, assuming we are wealthy. Yes, so that's what you want, right? Like you may want to, get financial wealth, right?
Yes, I do want.
Yes, Mickey wants a car, even though she's 10.
I can still drive it.
No, you cannot drive at 10. All right, so listen, we always want to hear from you. We always want to hear about your ideas. I need to know new topics. So please, can you let me know what else you'd like to learn about on KiddieNomics? So if you can send me an email on kiddienomics101@gmail.com. Please, never without your parents' permission. So anything that you do is always with your parents' permission. All right, so tell me after.
So how about I make a presentation about TikTok, how to be famous on TikTok.
How to be famous on TikTok? Well, we'll think about that one. All right, we'll think about that one. And then of course, if you do like the content that you've seen today, please like and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And of course, use the hashtag TikTok or Ask KiddieNomics.
TikTok.
Or use hashtag KiddieNomics or Ask KiddieNomics. All right. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Thank you again, Miss Brittany, for coming on KiddieNomics. You are wonderful for sharing your knowledge with the kids today. I know that was not an easy topic to make kids understand and make it kiddie relatable, but that was awesome. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And the kids absolutely loved your hair. So I think they just loved listening to you anyways.
Amazing.
All right, everybody, have a fabulous week. We will see you next week, and
Bye. Oh, that was a long time.
That was a long